children. Let's hear the story about giants and grasshoppers today. Mr. Hamlin was sitting at his desk writing something very important. Mrs. Hamlin asked him, "What is the matter? What is hindering the work?" "The work," he said. "Oh, the old story. There are giants in the land and the committee feels like grasshoppers." It was Earl's turn to look up. He was reading, but when he heard this, he was surprised. He thought, of course, there were no giants in these days. So he waited until his father was turning the paper to another page. Then he asked, "Father, what do you mean about giants and grasshoppers?" Mr. Hamlin laughed. "Oh, so you heard what we were talking." Then the father went on to explain that he was talking about the 12 spies whom Moses had sent to look around Canaan, and 10 of them came back whining that there were giants in the land and they felt like grasshoppers. Don't you remember the story?" Mr. Hamlin asked. "I remember about it now, Dad, and now I understand. There are lots of giants around nowadays, aren't there?" he asked. "Plenty of them, my son. Look out that none of them scare you away from an opportunity," Dad warned. Earl laughed and said, "I will take care, Daddy. I am not a grasshopper." The next day, Earl sat struggling to solve a problem which was part of the homework that was given by his teacher, Miss Andrews. Near him sat Howard, who had come to take Earl to play with his friends. They didn't want to play without Earl, so there was Howard sitting and asking him to come with him repeatedly. And here was Earl telling, "Wait a minute, let me try to finish this. Let me try. And Howard started saying, "You know, Earl, all our friends tried and none of them could do it. How could you? Even my brother tried doing it and he also couldn't do it. And what more, I heard Mr. Bowen telling Miss Andrews that there would not be a pupil in the room who could conquer it." "Is that so?" asked Earl. And he started thinking for some time, and he was about to put his books back inside his bag when Carol, his cousin, who was sitting in the next room, just opened the door and asked, "Oh, Earl, was that a giant?" And with that, she laughed and jumped away. Howard couldn't understand anything. He just looked at Earl and said, "Who is the giant? Where is the giant?" But here he saw Earl with a determined expression in his face saying, "I am not a grasshopper. Howard, you go for playing. I am not coming today. I am going to sit and solve this problem." Howard couldn't accept this disappointment. He said, "Oh, Earl, you were almost putting everything away. What happened now?" But Earl said, "No problem, Howard. I am not coming today. Please go and play. I will stay back to work." So Howard went away very sadly. The next day, the students filed inside the class, and just as Miss Andrews was asking them about the problem, the homeworks that were given yesterday, some guests arrived in the classroom. It was Mr. Hamlin. Along with him came Principal Bowen and some other new person who the children whispered to be Judge Dennison of Buffalo, who had attended the school when he was a boy. Cousin Carol was also accompanying Mr. Hamlin. So here they were all coming to inspect the classroom, the way the children are doing their work. And the children were so scared because today they hadn't completed their homework. Now Miss Andrews asked Howard to come up to the blackboard and try the problem, the 39th problem, the problem which was a real problem. And there Howard was accepting sadly that he had not done his homework, that it was a very difficult problem and he couldn't solve it. So Miss Andrews called the next boy, the next girl, the another boy. Everyone had different reasons for their not doing the homework. Some confessed that they hadn't even attempted because they had heard their friends saying it was very difficult. So there they were sitting like this when suddenly Miss Andrews' eye fell on Earl and she asked, "Earl, can you come and try?" Earl went straight up to the blackboard and he started working out. The whole class was silent and here were the guests seeing keenly what is going to happen. Earl's fingers flew across the blackboard. The children were thinking, is he making any mistake in the subtraction? In the addition, in the multiplication, no. He couldn't make any mistake. He just went straight down. And then he came to the step where everyone had been stuck up. They could not proceed any further. But here, without a hesitation, Earl proceeded further and he completed the problem. Mr. Bowen was so happy. He applauded and he said, "Well done, Earl." Miss Andrews was very happy too. She said, "I didn't expect this really, Earl. I gave this homework as a trial of patience so that you will all spend some time to conquer it. But am I so happy? And will you tell me, Earl, did you get any help?" Earl immediately said, "Yes, ma'am. My cousin Carol helped me." And now it was cousin Carol's turn to be astonished. She laughed and she said, "I have no idea what he's telling. Earl, where did I help you? I tried myself and I couldn't succeed in solving this problem. How could I ever have helped you?" And now Earl had to explain. He told the class, "Yes, I was trying the problem yesterday, but as I was about to give up, it was Carol who came and told me that the problem was a giant. I knew that I was never a grasshopper, but I never looked at this problem as a giant. But when she reminded me, I went for it. I wanted to conquer this giant. So that's how I said Carol helped me." And that is the end of that story. You know, there are many giants in the land, many types of problems. But are you a grasshopper? Are you ready to be scared of giants? But are you going to stand strong like Earl? This story teaches us to be strong and to conquer. But there is also another lesson. Earl, even though he spent hours in working out this problem, when his teacher asked him how long he had spent, he told that he was working out this problem from 6 in the evening to 11 at night. He had put in such a lot of effort, but when it was time for appreciation, Earl did not want to take all the appreciation to himself. He was always willing to share. He said the reason for his success was his cousin, even though her part was very, very small. So, dear children, remember these two lessons. Be brave and be always willing to share. Bye.